What's up, YouTube? So in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the 2022 draft results for the XFL. Some pretty interesting ones, some players I'm definitely excited about, and that's really what I'm going to be talking about today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I'm not going to know a lot of these players. A lot of players have kind of forgotten about at this point as well. Also, it was very specific, like each round, what you're allowed to take. Day one, they got their quarterbacks. Then they did offensive skill positions, the next group, and then D-backs, and you get it. So yeah, let's get into it. The Arlington Renegades. I'm interested to see the roster. I mean the uniforms too when those come out. Some of the teams are still the same. Here's all the teams: DC Defenders, St. Louis Battlehawks. Those are still the same. San Antonio. I'm not going to try to say that. Orlando Guardians, Vegas Vipers. It used to be the Tampa Bay Vipers and the New York Guardians, but there's no Tampa team or New York team anymore. Seattle Sea Dragons. Wasn't it just the Seattle Dragons before? I think so. Arlington Renegades and Houston Roughnecks. Those are the same. So the ones that are still the exact same is Houston, St. Louis, and DC. I thought it was just the Seattle Dragons before. I don't remember C being in there. Whatever. So the Arlington Renegades, they got Drew Plitt, who I'm not familiar with. Kyle Sloter, I am very familiar with. He's kind of a preseason legend because he always lights up every preseason game he gets into, especially when he was with the Vikings. So he's fun. Sal Cannella, I do remember watching him. I don't remember if I'm pronouncing his name right anymore. I do remember scouting him when he was coming out of the draft, so I do remember liking him, so that sounds fun. I don't recognize any of those people. Scotty Phillips is interesting. Will Hill, definitely remember him. Did he play in the XFL before? If not, he played in one of these summer leagues. Obviously, he played very well for the Ravens as well. Really good, hard-hitting safety. Shakur Brown, more of a... I think he's from Michigan State, if I remember correctly. Definitely a green team. I do remember watching him. I think I even have a video on Shakur Brown. Pretty hard-nosed, good tackling, aggressive, little-ass nickel corner. I do remember him pretty well. Raheem Moore, I remember him from the... If that's the guy from the Broncos, I'm pretty sure he is. I remember Nick Temple. He's not bad. Marquette King. Interesting. He could probably still be a punter in the NFL, but, you know, hey. He still has one of the biggest legs. Do they only have one quarterback? Interesting. I don't know him. I do know Abram Smith, though, from Oregon. That was this past draft class, and I actually really liked him. I do remember Jazz Ferguson. I remember liking him quite a bit. Actually, they got a couple good running backs. I really liked Abram Smith. Raquel Armstead, I absolutely loved him when he was coming out. Puka Williams is a player that can play running back and receiver. Very, very fast, but very small. Could probably do some special teams things for you, too. I really like that running back room a lot. Let's see. I remember Cortez Davis. Sorry, I looked at Allen. Niles Scott. I remember him. He's a pretty big-ass nose tackle. Last time I seen him, his hands weren't all that great, but he is strong. Ty Clare, I remember him. I don't remember any of those special teams guys. Okay. So that's fun. They have some pretty interesting... they have a good running back room. Houston's got a couple decent quarterbacks. Caleb Ellaby and Brandon Silvers. Brandon Silvers is kind of a summer league champion at this point. Max Borghi, he just came out this past draft class. I liked him pretty decently. I'm actually surprised he's not still with a team in the NFL, to be honest with you. There are some players I'm kind of looking past, too. DeAndre Johnson, that's cool. Chauncey Rivers. I do remember Tisdale as well. Okay. Interesting. I don't recognize either of these quarterbacks. I do remember Charleston Rambo from Miami, though. Wasn't a massive fan of him, but I do remember. I kind of knew he wasn't going to be... I liked him enough as a college player, but Jermaine Martin I like a lot. I forget the college. It was... He had like a yellow jersey, though. It was a D2 school. It was a... It was a HBCU college. I do remember him. That was this past draft class, too. I liked him a lot. Very excited for that. Cody Latimer. Yeah, I do remember him. Patrick Smith as well. Interested to learn some of these quarterbacks as well. I do remember D. Virgin just because his name. Matt Elam, I do remember him from Florida. Gerald Willis, I do remember him as well. Terrence Smith. Joshua Frazier, yep. Okay. San Antonio, I don't recognize either of those quarterbacks. Jacquez Patrick, I remember. He played in the NFL for a little bit. Was it the Lions? I want to see either the Lions or the Cardinals. Dylan Parham, I remember him. Kalen Ballage, obviously he was a Dolphin. Terry Wright, is that FSU? His draft class had a lot of players like him. And TJ Vasher. I'm pretty sure that's the same draft class. That's fun. I actually like their receiving room quite a bit actually. Bubba Bolden, I remember. Elijah Jones, cool. Let's see. Brad Wing, I remember him. He played for the Giants for quite a while. AJ McCarron, I did see that. That's awesome. Marcel Aitman, I remember him quite a bit. Darius Shepard, Brian Hill for sure with the Bengals. I remember Austin. I don't remember how to pronounce his last name though. Pretty decent slot receiver though. Got actually quite a bit of speed to him. Ben DeLuca, kind of a linebacker / safety. D'Angelo Ross, I remember him. He spent some time with the Dolphins this past training camp. Kind of got his ass beat in preseason. Mike Rose, sure. Bryce Foxworth, I remember him. I do remember Sterling, too. Wasn't a big fan. He spent some time with us in preseason. Seattle's got a couple quarterbacks. Ben DiNucci, who spent some time with the Cowboys, actually started some games for them. Not very good. Pretty big arm, though. Steven Montez, big arm, pretty mobile guy. Was it Colorado, I think? Definitely gold helmet, black jersey. I definitely remember that. Could have been like Wake Forest or something, but I'm pretty sure it was Colorado. That's how I remember it sometimes. Sometimes I won't remember the college. I'll just remember watching film on them and remember the color of their jersey. After enough draft classes, that's just kind of how it stays in my mind. I remember Brendan Knox. Didn't really like him that much. Antoine Brooks. Reggie Robinson, I remember. Curtis Weaver. That's from Boise State, I believe. There was another Boise State guy that came out of the same draft class. Trey Walker, sure. They got Jordan Evans listed twice. That's interesting. PJ Hall, okay. Couple former Dolphins in the offensive line. Michael Manette, he spent some time with us, and so did Julian Davenport. Davenport actually started for us in, was it 2020? Right after we traded Tunzel. Brendan Ruiz, okay. Luis Perez, of course. He's also a spring league champion at this point, too. Martavis Bryant, the former Steeler. John Levitt, okay. Jeff Badett, he's fast as shit. Matt Jones, all right. Matthew Sexton at this point has been in quite a few summer leagues as well. Remember Blacknell as well. Grayson Gunter, cool. They got a nice little offense. A lot of speed. Martavis Bryant and Jeff Badett, that's a lot of speed. Blacknell's actually got some speed to him too. Or at least he did. Vic Beasley, that's a huge name. He's not really what he once was. Donovan West, all right. All right, so some pretty big names. I did skip over some that I did recognize, but those were some of the ones I was most excited about. As far as rooting interest goes, I don't really know. There's not a Tampa team anymore. I might just roll with Orlando. What was their team again? I can roll with that. Charleston Rambo, Jermaine Martin, I love. Cody Latin. I could probably root for this team. Jermaine Martin alone. I really, really liked him. He's a very powerful, angry-ass runner. Matt Elam from Florida. Gerald Willis. Yeah, I could probably root for this team. That could be fun. I gotta get to know the quarterbacks if that's going to be the case. But, yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, appreciate hitting that like button. Have any questions or comments in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.